Hello, Royals. Today I want to tell you a little story about how I got to this whole work around time stewardship. You know, time stewardship is my brand, it's what I do, it's what I promote, but it's based on a lot of lived experiences. So I want to take you back about 20 years. 20 years. So 20 years ago, I was a Ph.D. student. Super excited because I was a very unlikely candidate to be embarking on a journey such as this. And it was a very serious matter. We had a mixer, we had several meetings, we had orientations, and there were various things and expectations that were emphasized. One of those was timeliness, that you had to be on time. At the time, I was a young assistant principal. I was also a single parent, and so my plate was quite full. I also, as a young woman, had not overcome in many areas, so I was still people pleasing. I was still burning the candle at both ends. I was still seeking validation, and so I was always overbooked. I was always overscheduled. So for my first class, I left work late and I traveled to my campus, and I knew we had to be on time. One of the professors told us that if you weren't on time, that just consider yourself dropped. So I leave work late, I rush to campus, and I look like I have a couple of minutes. And I mean, I book it to the building. The minutes are just passing. You can't make time stop. Get in the hallway, and I'm just hoping that maybe everyone is getting settled. The door is closed. I stand in the hallway. I look at the door, and I just begin to sob. I sobbed like I was a major loss, like I was grieving. And I couldn't even regain my composure because I was told that if you were late, you might as well consider dropping. I stood in the hallway. I didn't want to go back to the car yet because I just didn't want to even embrace the failure. So I stood in the hallway, very unable to regain my composure. One of the professors, who had a reputation for being quite strict, came up to me and said, what's going on? I said, I'm late. I was late. I was late to class. They told us we couldn't be late. I'm late. I can't believe I was late. I can't believe after the application and going to all the meetings and hearing about not being late that I'm late. And he told me, and again, he was one of the strictest. He said, hold your head up, open the door, walk in the room, smile, wave, and sit down. And I was like, go in the room? He said, go in that room, smile, wave, and sit down. So, and again, this is the younger Michelle. This was 20 years ago. And I'm still very insecure, very, very still dealing with a lot of that ego, self-centeredness. I'm thinking everything is about me. So I opened the door and all eyes turned my way. I smiled, waved, and sat down. So, and now I'm Dr. Michelle Fennick. So I just want you to know that it all worked out. But what was interesting is one of my classmates contacted me and said, girl, when you came in there late, I just knew it was over. I just knew you were about to have a moment. Why were you late? And I explained. Now, what I want you to know is I made some adjustments and I was never late again. So I want to talk to you today about your modus operandi. And what is that? That is a Latin term that means your method of operation. M-O. What is your M-O? Sometimes I call it, what do you do most often? So with this time stewardship thing, what I want you to consider is, There will be moments where you get a flat tire. I live in Houston. There will be moments when you have to take a detour. You want your reputation to be that most often you are in control of your calendar. Most often you are operating in a way that you can be depended on. Most often you are professional, you show up, and you're ready. Most often you do the research that is needed so that you can make your commitments. I hope this story has blessed you. In my workbook, the time alignment method, I do have a component that talks about extending yourself grace. It is important that you steward your time well because time is the only currency we spend, not knowing the balance. So make it count.